What if you discovered something that could save thousands of lives, and nobody believed you, and then you died of the exact thing you were trying to prevent? That's not a dark joke. That actually happened. To a real person. In the 1800s. This is the story of Ignaz Semmelweis, the man who discovered hand-washing, got laughed out of medicine, lost his mind, and became a martyr for basic hygiene. Let's get into it. Ignaz Semmelweis was born in 1818 in Budapest, Hungary. He was sharp, ambitious, and by his late 20s had landed a prestigious position at the Vienna General Hospital, one of the most respected medical institutions in the world. Specifically, he worked in the maternity ward. Now, the Vienna General Hospital had two maternity clinics. Clinic 1 was staffed by doctors and medical students. Clinic 2 was staffed by midwives. Here's where it gets interesting. And by interesting, I mean horrifying. Women were begging to be admitted to Clinic 2. Literally, begging. Because if you ended up in Clinic 1, your chances of dying were dramatically higher. We're talking death rates of up to 18% in Clinic 1 versus around 2% in Clinic 2. Women were dying in droves, and nobody could figure out why. The medical establishment had all kinds of theories. Bad air, psychological stress, the position women gave birth in. One doctor actually suggested women were dying of embarrassment because male doctors were in the room. I wish I was making that up. Then, in 1847, Semmelweis lost a close friend, a colleague who'd been accidentally stabbed with a scalpel during an autopsy. His friend died showing the exact same symptoms as the women in Clinic 1. And it clicked. The doctors in Clinic 1 were coming straight from performing autopsies on corpses and then delivering babies, without washing their hands. The midwives in Clinic 2 weren't doing autopsies at all. Semmelweis theorized that the doctors were carrying what he called cadaverous particles, basically death particles, from the dead bodies directly into the maternity ward. His solution: wash your hands with chlorinated lime solution before touching patients. Revolutionary, right? Almost embarrassingly simple. You'd think people would be thrilled. They were not thrilled. Semmelweis implemented hand-washing in his ward, and the death rate dropped almost immediately, from 18% down to around 1%. The data was right there, and the medical establishment basically said, no thanks. See, the idea that doctors, educated, respected, gentlemanly doctors, could be responsible for killing their patients was offensive to them. Deeply, personally offensive. These were men who didn't think they needed to wash their hands because they were gentlemen, and gentlemen's hands were clean by definition. Semmelweis did not handle the rejection well, and honestly, can you blame him? He wrote increasingly frantic letters to doctors across Europe. He called his critics murderers. He showed up at medical conferences and screamed at people. His mental state deteriorated. His colleagues grew concerned, and not in a supportive way. In 1865, Semmelweis was committed to a mental asylum. He died there 2 weeks later, aged just 47, from an infection. Possibly the same type of infection he'd spent his career trying to stop. The universe has a dark sense of humor. Here's the kicker. Just a few years after his death, Louis Pasteur and Joseph Lister advanced germ theory, proving scientifically that microorganisms cause infection. Everything Semmelweis had said was right. The medical world finally caught up. He never got to see it. Today, Semmelweis is celebrated as a pioneer of infection control. There are statues of him, medical universities named after him. He's called the savior of mothers. But during his lifetime, he was the guy everyone thought was crazy for suggesting doctors wash their hands. Ignaz Semmelweis didn't discover a cure for a rare disease. He didn't build a rocket or write a symphony. He just noticed something obvious that everyone else refused to see, and it cost him everything. Next time you use hand sanitizer, maybe pour one out for the guy.